Welcome to day 3621 of being locked up. I hope you all are just doing fabulous and that you are still sane. Today I'll be sharing quite a few creative ideas with you all, and this is to be an inspiration. I know there are so many talented people. See me as the medium to inspire you and go create something beautiful and absolutely unique in your own space. I thought of last night while I was busy preparing for today's live demo, I was just realizing again that we are actually in the center of rewriting or writing a new chapter in history. And we need to make memories in this time and also leave something for the generations to follow, that you can share your story of COVID-19 to them one day, so that they can know what you've experienced, what your trials and tribulations were, what inspired you and what made you feel safe. So the items I'm going to paint today, we are going to, on our Facebook page, #Tjhoko COVID-19. You can, I'll share it after this video, you can share your COVID-19 stories with us. Whether it's funny, whether it's sad, whether it's inspirational, with something creative that you've created with Tjhoko paint to inspire others and to share your story. Since the beginning of our Tjhoko journey, we always shared the message that Tjhoko has a story. And Tjhoko is about people involved in the entire process of selecting the colors, selecting the color names. And Tjhoko paint wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for all the support we receive from you. So first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to inspire. And I want to thank you for the generous support that I've received on our Facebook pages, on emails, on WhatsApp messages. Thank you to everybody, and thank you for the sincere messages on our Facebook pages. Thank you that you want to share and inspire others. And I think as a country, this is now a proof and a real test of character, how we should support one another and how we should portray and give a message of hope and inspiration. And we are all part of this, and we are one huge family. Tjhoko paint is all about family. And today I'll be sharing things from my heart to you, and I can't wait to experience your heart stories. If you don't want to share on Facebook, you can email it to me, nadine@tjokopaint.co.za. But share your story. I love you all. Let's start. Something beautiful that I've read this morning. Ida, ek hoop jy kyk. Ida is one of our stockers in Harry Smith, and she's also currently in hospital and facing tough times, but she has a story of her own through all the press that she received through this time. And on your WhatsApp group this morning, I read the following. It says, "You will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory." And we are all facing and living in a moment, and one day we'll have the opportunity to share these memories that we make during this time with the next generations. So let's start with that story today. Woo! Okay, I nearly fell off my chair. Let's start. So we are all eating here out of tin cans at the moment, and last night I thought of sayings. Love the life you live the life you love, and I just typed this on my computer and I printed it out on paper. I also thought this is an historic route 2020. I have written something for my blog and we'll publish it later this week. 2020, never thought it will turn out like this. And here's some a poem that my grandfather actually loved, that I found on the internet last night. It's one of Hamlet's poems. He loved Shakespeare. So I printed that out. It's also Memory in this Town. We have time to reflect. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint on tins. This is one that actually had olives in, and it is flat. So I'll show you exactly what to do. First, very important step when working with Tjhoko, and you should know it by now, but I'm repeating it for the people that are new on this video, is to clean surfaces like tin, like wall tiles, like varnish surfaces. If it was varnished more than 6 months ago, you can't paint on new varnish surfaces. You need to allow it to cure for 6 months. The most important preparation is to clean well with lacquer thinners. Wear a glove. Here's my lacquer thinners. I prefer Power Fix's lacquer thinners because I know it's a pure lacquer thinner. And then you wipe it clean well with a lacquer thinners cloth. Make sure this process is done properly because this is the most important step, your preparation. I've done it already. Wear a glove. Make sure there's ventilation in your space. And then you start painting. There was a question, please show us the color Tinus terracotta again, and I am going to show you. So here it is. There was another question, do we shake the Tjhoko jars before we open it? Yes, we do. This one has been standing now open for a while. Let me just give it a shake. So I shake my bottle. Tinus terracotta, it's named after our business partner. Open it, and I will even paint out of the sleeve not to waste any paint. And I have a plastic bag in my tin just not to cut myself. So very important also, if the children are helping you, just make sure that there are no sharp edges. And on the clean tin bottle, I'm painting with Tinus terracotta. It's really a beautiful terracotta color. Authentic, to create an authentic terracotta look. And I'm just painting. I'm using a Hamilton's fiberglass brush. You can see it's been working hard. Even this brush I'm going to keep, and my apron. This is a COVID-19 apron. It has stories that it can tell if it could speak. So I'm just applying my first coat evenly, making sure I reach all the areas. I'm now going to put it down to dry properly. 20 to 40 minutes drying time after your first coat. It depends on the weather, how long the paint takes to dry. So the weather plays a factor, and climate. If you are living in coastal areas, things do take longer to dry. So I allow my jar to dry, first coat, and then I'm going to apply my second coat. Now I have one that I painted last night already with my second coat on, and I've dented it a bit. I like the dent look and feel. Now this entire step is inspired by Ronelle Oakham Powers. Ronelle, I hope I've got your surnames in the correct order. She's the funky chunky chick from Hilton, one of our suppliers, and we just all love her to bits. Such an outgoing, lovely personality. And recently we had a get together where we shared some creative ideas with each other, and she showed us how to use glaze to stick fabric and paper onto surfaces, which I'm going to show you. We have a name for this technique, and it's Decoupage, okay, named after Funky Ronelle. So first of all, before I'm going to do my Decoupage, I'm going to antique glaze onto my tin. Now important, I am repeating myself from previous demos, before using our glaze, either whether it's the clear glaze or the antique brown glaze, allow the paint to dry at least 4 hours. I preferably prefer to wait overnight because we've had quite rainy, cloudy days even in Gauteng. So I'm just sure my paint has cured properly. I have our antique brown glaze mixture in this jar that we've been using throughout the lockdown. Just to repeat the recipe, it's 30% waters as the instructions on the antique brown glaze jar says. Let me just grab the antique glaze jar so you can see what it looks like. So this is the antique brown glaze. So I've added my 30% water and I've added 30% sheriff stone Tjhoko paint as well. What the sheriff stone or even matte black can be added, what it does, it just prolongs the drying time and it makes the effect more effective. So I just give it a mix. And I just want to antique my tin can so it looks old and used, just to create a nice effect. I have tin cans hanging outside, and I'll show you next week when we finish the outside area. And they've been there for over a year and they're still in impeccable condition. So what the glazes do, it makes your surfaces water resistant and UV resistant. So here's my antique glaze on my tin now. And you will think, Nadine, what in the world are you doing? I have a damp cloth, and now very important with a damp cloth, and I'm just showing again, forgive me if you have seen this before, is to fold it like a ball in the palm of your hand, nice and flat, all the hems to the inside, that no frills can get onto your surface, and very lightly I am wiping the glaze off my surface. I'm removing it while the glaze is still wet, but very gently. So I'm not working harshly and no hard pressure. And now I'll move to a cleaner part of my cloth. So I'm just turning it around. You can see this cloth has really worked hard. No mutton cloth, nowhere available. So I'll just have to bear with my dirty cloths. And the dent gives a nice effect on the jar. And this is also for a client in Hermanus that wanted to see the antique glaze effect. So I'm folding the cloth away again to a cleaner section. Very gently I'm wiping. And there you can see how it gets to a stage where I feel very happy. So you can see how the antique glaze is sitting in all the edges, and look what nice effect it creates on where the dent is. I just want to remove a bit more. And you stop wiping when you feel satisfied about the look and feel. I once bought ceramic garden pots that looked like tin cans. And now this really gives the same effect. So can you see, I'm working gently, patiently, until I'm completely, oh, and I love it, satisfied with the outcome. And there is something that you have painted, antique glazed, and the dent just gives a nice effect. And now you can use it as storage for stationery, for knives and forks. You can use it for maybe toothbrush, toothpaste. You can use it for some plants, your herbs if you have. I've got one now here that's already been painted and glazed, and it's dry. And now I'm going to show you how I'm going to stick this printed out piece of paper with my clear glaze onto the tin. So what I've mixed, I'm just going to move things away. Here's one that's done and dusted. That's what that one looks like. I'm just creating some space. So I have my clear glaze mixture here. It's 3 parts clear glaze. Now you can use a measuring cup in your kitchen. 3 parts clear glaze, 1 part water. That's what I have done. I have my paper, and it's just normal paper, and I dip it in my glaze and water mixture. And this is now inspired by Renal. And I put it onto my painted jar. And I play with my fingers that the paper sits nicely in all the grooves. Now this sets rock hard. I'll show you on the one I've prepped last night. And with my damp cloth, I just wipe the glaze. There's already some soil in there. Gently wipe, and that is done. And now what we can do is we can just put a string or a ribbon, anything you have in your home, we can put around the neck. And we can put a plant in there or whatever you want to store inside. And what you can do is put a message of your COVID-19 journey on your tin jars and save them for whoever needs to see them one day. Let's just cut it. Okay, so this is done with paper. And here's the one that's done. There I had more rope left, and there you can see it's nicely, securely on the surface, and it is sealed. So this is step 1 for our Decoupage technique, and now I'm going to show you with fabric what the possibilities are, and this is very exciting. So here's one I've done last night. I said to Trish, I told you, Trish, please see if it works with Tjhoko paint on the bigger sheets of paper you so beautifully decoupage. And I found this fabric in my garage. I promise you that's a treasure trove. So here's fabric, and here's my glaze mixture, and here is a jar. There's also a foam that I can apply to my other tins. So there's a jar that I've just simply painted one coat with matte black, just to know that my edges are nicely finished off. And now what I do is I take my fabric, I dip it in my container with my 3 parts clear glaze, 1 part water, so it's nice and wet. Now, if I do anything wrong, please tell us afterwards. But I can see on the one that I've tested last night, and even on the glass piece, I'll show you now, it works beautifully and it's very secure. Now what I do, I simply just fold it over my tin can. I can cut it shorter if I want to. If there are some loose frills, I just remove them. Once this is dry, it's so hard that no frills can come loose. And I just make sure it's nice and tight. Renal sent me a picture last night of her drawers that she's done the same with fabric. I'm just going to paint a section there to make sure it's nice and tight. And then what I've done this morning, I've just given it another coat of glaze just to make sure it really doesn't go anywhere. So once the glaze dries, you will see that the color of the fabric returns to the original color. And then you can put your string around, you can put a ribbon around, and you have something that you've created with your tins during lockdown 2020. Something that I've also experimented with is to do the same technique on glass and wood. Decoupage technique, where we actually use the glaze as a decoupage material. So here I've done it on a piece of glass, and I'm going to complete furniture pieces next week. So this is done on glass. I've painted the back of the glass, and that is the front. And it's so secure, you can see it doesn't come off. And I'm now just going to complete it with a nice wording stencil in the color. And I think I'm going to use Maestro is painting with. Maestro is very mischievous. I found him on the counter yesterday, trying to get the toast out of the toaster. The toast that was still inside the toaster, he was trying to get out on top of my kitchen counter. So you can just imagine how friendly I was. Okay, so stenciling with paint, very little paint is needed. I remove any excess paint, and I'm going to stencil now on top of the fabric that I have dipped and soaked in the clear glaze, stuck onto my glass surface. The previous surface was tin, this is now glass, and now I'm just going to stencil on here. I'm not even going to do the entire stencil. This is actually a shell for my furniture piece that we will be completing next week. So very little paint, evenly distributed in your stencil brush. Work in circular movements. Secure your stencil with your free hand. And there it can even be used on a tray. And here I've done it exactly the same techniques that you can just see on a piece of wood. So this is a wooden block, and we've done the same technique there just to see that it works. Okay, so decoupage, Runel, thank you, beautiful. Let's move on to our next station. And Kaylee is the video girl again today. So I first want you to have a look here. We are busy creating wool decor, a wool block, focal wool block theme to go onto a wool with various stencil techniques. If you don't have stencils, I'm going to show you with masking tape what the possibilities are. And then what I have done is I have written, just find the one, and I'll complete the rest. I have written memories of COVID-19 at the back of some of the blocks. I'm going to hang them on a wall, but this will also be a memory to show one day. This was actually Kaylee's birthday message that she hasn't seen yet. She celebrated her 13th birthday during lockdown. So let me show you what the possibilities are. I'm going to give inspirations, but you can go wild. If you want to do directly on a wall surface, if you don't have wooden blocks, you can do that. Or you can, in a book, keep ideas for yourself, write them down, and after lockdown, see how many of those ideas you can execute. So let's see. So I have a wooden block, and there was a question on, someone asked to show a whitewash technique. Now there are never only one right way of doing things. We all find ways that suit us best. And that's also part of the fun of it. You will find a way and a technique that you will love. Share it with us. It would be amazing to see all the creativity as we've been seeing throughout lockdown. So the color I'm going to work with is Martin's Move as a whitewash color. I want to create the idea that this is actually a Moroccan tile and not wood. So let's fake it. So I shape my bottle, open it, and then the first step is, and I'm going to use David as well. The first step would be to have a damp cloth. Okay, sorry, I'm just getting these ones that I've used over here. So I have a damp cloth. And what I do is I put some paint on my cloth. This is a way of whitewashing on a raw timber surface. Now whitewash is most effective if you do it on raw timber, raw cement or raw brick surfaces. If the surface is raw, it can actually absorb the paint. And what you want to do with a whitewash technique, you don't want to cover the entire surface with a solid coat of paint. You still want to see the grain of the wood coming through. And that is what whitewash is. This is the first way of doing it. So I simply apply paint on my damp cloth and I wipe onto the surface. And you can move in both directions. And you can do the edges. And then to create something more of a cement feel is I take some Davet, also put it on my damp cloth, nicely blend it into my cloth, that there's not a blob of paint sitting on my cloth, and in circular movements, and maybe just on the edge. Is it nicely visible on the screen, okay? I'm just applying some Davet here and there. And there you have a cement look and feel. If you want to incorporate another color, let's go with Layers New again. So whitewash does not imply that the paint you use is white. You can use any color paint. Another term for whitewash is also lime wash. You just want to see the grain of the wood and there's not a solid color on the surface. And the other important tip is it needs to be raw timber, raw brick or raw cement surface. Now if I want to use a different color, you can do it and you can be adventurous. So let's do more like a blend effect on the surface where we have a teal color at the top. Jane's Jade is just as beautiful. Comfort's blue is stunning for this. And I have more of a grey-white at the bottom. And there I have a blended washed effect on my surface. And now I can play around with stencil work. If I want to do this stencil work over there with Stencil of Paris, so I'm running low on supplies. I think we all are. Just don't lose the inspiration. Write your ideas down. I'm going to put that section over there, and with my Stencil of Paris, I just put it on top. Scrape it nicely evenly. You will see we'll do a different technique in a moment with it as well. You can mix small amounts of Tjhoko paint into your Stencil of Paris to change the color. Just want to scrape that back. And I remove my stencil. And on that side I have something funky. And now on the other side I actually want to do paint stencil work. So I just put the stencil there. That was one of the questions. I hope I'm doing the correct block that I saw on the questions after our live demo on Tuesday. So there I put the stencil down there, and let's, oh, this is a lovely new color. Just look here, it's named after Spackies. Now the people that have seen us at Homemakers Hobby X will know that Spackies is our rep. He's also one of my brother's best friends. They grew up together, and oh boy, I have stories to tell about the two of them. So Spackies, his real name is actually Paul, and that color is named after him. He actually asked for a nice pink color to fit with the Spackies name, but I decided a bright orange goes with Spackies' beautiful bright personality. And now I can do stencil work in a color. Let's just repeat this one in Paul's place. And I'm going to do Naya's new little paint, biggest tip. Just move it back. Sorry, I just want to get the position right. This one. This one. And I remove my stencil, and there I have a stunning block. And this block can resemble some hope. So there is a next block done and dusted if you don't have stencils and you have masking tape. Let's share some creative masking tape ideas. So first of all, I would also whitewash my timber surface. This is just pine blocks that I found in the garage. My garage is a wonderful, very, very deurmekaar place. But a lot of creative ideas have been born there. Just do the edges as well. I'm not doing it now so that we don't waste any time. But you can do the edges. Let's put some David on here, just here and there. Wash with some David. Another way of doing a whitewash effect, and that's very effective on brick surfaces, is to mix equal quantities paint and water together. Now a 250 ml jar like this with a 250 milliliter water covers an 8 square meter brick surface if you wash it. But it depends on the brightness of the color you want to see. I'm going to show you outside in a moment. Okay, now for masking tape, there are so many ways that you can do this. So what I like to do is I like to space it out properly. So let's start there, just make some space. Let's make this one shorter. Today we're working in the kitchen because the kids are using the dining room. Yak is using the study. So that one was actually my spacer. Now I'll have a large piece. Let's move and put that one there. So that you know your lines are sitting nicely and evenly. And we are doing a knit one, slip one. So that one can come out, that one can come out. This one can come here. And we have another spacer. There you go. Okay, so there are some lines. And let's use for this a bit of Simon Says, I think. Okay, so I'm doing that. And in the center, let's do some, yeah, that we'll do at the end. Let me show you, I have an idea. Okay, so let's get a clean stencil brush. I don't want to contaminate that or wash it, else it will be too wet. What we do, little paint in between your lines. We quickly stencil. And now for the edges, if you want to, you can add some antique brown glaze. I'll show you in a second how. And you can sand. The sanding part is the most exciting part because it immediately changes the feel to more of a rustic feel. Okay, so there's some yellow lines. Just want to make sure that one is nice and bright. And then I'm going to add some stencil of Paris in the center. Now I'm not using a stencil. I'm just using masking tape. If you want to cut your own stencils, print out some designs, trace them on hardboard, cut them out with a blade. The only thing is then you can not use it so often, but at least you have a design that you like. And now I just remove my masking tape. Hexagonal patterns are very much in fashion at the moment. Moroccan designs still very much in fashion and very popular. And there we have something created with lines. And now if we want to just create some effect on the edges, let's do it. I'm going to get my antique brown glaze. Just put a bit here on my cloth. I'm just adding a bit of my glaze mixture on my cloth, and I'm just wiping the edges. Can you see the effect, Kaylee? Wiping the edge to create a rustic look and feel. And there something else is done. On this one, okay, can you see done and dusted? So there's another block finished. On this one, I've simply painted it. You can see it's still drying. I've painted it with Shorty's Simon Says underneath. Then took the back of my paintbrush and I just draw something that looks like a maze. Okay, so here is some block wall art inspiration. Beautiful if you do a whole lot of them on an empty wall space. There was a question earlier today and I recommended that that's maybe something that will look lovely. Next we're moving to painted glass surfaces, and I just want to move all the tools that I will need for this over here. So the shelves of the furniture pieces I want to paint next week have glass drawers that I want to make look different and fresh. So this one I've cleaned already with lacquer thinners. Once again, the most important step. This one I've stenciled already with stencil of Paris, and then this one, and I've painted it with, so I've applied the stencil of Paris like on here, allowed for the stencil of Paris to dry, and then I painted it with Simon Says. But look what happened at the back. Look how beautiful that is. So even this can be the new shelf in my furniture piece, but I'm going to show you how to do it and how to apply the antique brown glaze. And that was a question on Facebook, so I'm just repeating. I have shown it already, but I do not mind showing it again. I'm just rinsing out my cloth. So my cloth is damp but not wet, so I remove any excess moisture. So first of all, I'll apply my stencil of Paris with my paint scraper as I've shown just now. Remove the stencil while it's still wet, wash your stencil with water and allow for your stencil of Paris to dry. Don't put it in the sun, then it will make cracks like it has done over here, but I don't care about that because I am painting it. But this is your last step. If you don't want to paint on top, allow it to dry at room temperature. Now I'm going to do my antique blonde glaze wash. Okay, damp cloth, and it's exactly as I have shown on the tin bottles. The greatness of this effect actually comes with a washing afterwards, which I will show you. So I'm painting my antique glaze on. It's still my mixture. 30% water was added to my antique brown glaze and 3% share of stone. Paint it on. Don't paint too large sections. Smallish sections better, especially if you are new at the technique, because the glaze tends to dry quickly in warmer temperatures. Okay, my glaze is on. Just make sure it's evenly spread. Damp cloth, again, important. I fold it like a ball, palm of my hand, and very gently I start wiping. The effect is beautiful. Tjhoko is busy with online schooling, and there was a very excited moment. Never would we imagine that his grade 12 year would be like this, but we are absolutely staying positive and making the most of it. So I'm wiping gently. If you wipe too hard, you're just removing it. Dan is Suzette van Hermanus. Hierdie is spesiaal vir jou. Ek hoop jy kyk. So I'm wiping gently, not hard. And every time when I reach the bottom, I turn my cloth to an area where I can see it's still clean. Fold it again like a ball, press it flat, and wipe again. And now you can see what's happening. How stunning is this? How beautiful this will be for a wall surface. Only important then is to work small sections at a time when you do the antique glaze. So if I reach the bottom, I can press a bit harder because it's drier here than it was at the top, to evenly get the same look and feel everywhere. Oh, this is so beautiful. You can even do it in a plastic tray. And then if you want to change anything, how stunning is this? Kaylee shows me I should move on. Are you all in a hurry? Okay, so if you're happy with this, you don't need to do anything else. If you want to, Tannie Suzette, you can add a wash effect on top. Okay, Kaylee have nicely shown this. I'm going to move it to here. Can you see how beautiful this looks? And it's glass. Can you see it's glass? So this is the back, that is the front. Okay, if you want to create a washed effect on this, I use David. You can use any color. You will see the lighter color just makes everything pop. So I evenly distribute it in my cloth and very light pressure. This is important. Very light pressure. I just touch. And now I have something different again. Can you see the change well? So there is the stencil work with antique glaze and a washed effect on glass. And how beautiful is that? Okay, next, let's go outside and I'm going to show you how to wash on a brick surface. That was one of the questions we received last after Tuesday's walk through the house. So as mentioned before, there are various ways of doing a wash effect. One is like we've done, we've simply added paint to our damp cloth and washed it. The other is to mix equal quantities paint and water together if it's an indoor raw brick wall. For outdoor, you can mix equal quantity paint and glaze together, especially if the wall is exposed to water and a lot of sunlight. I'm working under a roof. I'm not going to do the mixture thing. I'm going to show you another way of doing it, and that is a dry brush technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, sometimes you'll see if the paint stands long, it starts separating. It happens to any paint. In plastic, you just can't see it. In the glass, you can. So I've just put it upside down for a while. Okay, and then I just knock it. And knock it again. Ga jy my help, meester? Right, there you go. And I open it. Now I didn't close it properly. So I'm opening all my paint colors. Maestro will drink it going. So I'm using Frick's Forest. Yeah, let it drip there. It's perfect. Then we have reason to paint this ugly metal gas stand. My hands are so wet. Can I do it in the proper just shake. Okay, so we're going to dry brush, and I'm going to use brushes. Let me just knock this one to open it. It's me being unneat when I paint. Don't show this to my mom, please. She would get a heart attack. Okay, now I'm going to work with various colors. So I'm going to start with Sheriff Stone. Dip my brush in here. Remove the excess on the edge of the bottle. And Kaylee, you can move over here. And I am going to brush and wipe. But I'm not giving thick strokes of paint. It's very thin, very evenly, that I can manipulate the amount of paint on my surface. So I'm going to do a section with the various colors so that you can see how the colors transform this brick wall. And the wetter your cloth, the easier it is to spread the paint and play. So I'm moving my brush up and down. And now I'm going to start. I'll finish this wall and I'm going to repeat the exact same process as I'm sharing with you. But just that you can see how all the colors work together. And how little paint use, and it's actually very quick to do this. Now I'll move, kan jy mooi daar sien sis? Now I'll move to my next color, which will be a greenish color, and I always like to end my wash techniques with a light color because that just gives a pop to the surface. So let's go with Dumisa. And I'm not going to do it everywhere, just here and there. So I'm creating like a very old green wall. And now we can add some Frix Forest. I just love this. This is absolute pleasure and playing. And the nice thing about it is you can change as you go along. I think that is what I enjoy most of Tjhoko paint, is the fact that you can't make mistakes. You can simply just give a lick of a different color or add a different coat. Okay, now I'm going to add some Frix Forest. Frick, I hope you're watching. Fricky is the one that's writing the most hilarious stories on our Facebook page. So we can't wait to see what he comes up with next. So just some Frix Forest here and there. And this now can be done with any color, whether it is, whether it is a bluish color, yellows, whatever your space looks like. And I'm going to end this off with Dawn's Wash. So I just dip my fingers in there. And like the cupboard that I've washed, I spread the paint on my cloth, and like on the glass surface we've just painted, and very evenly, lightly, I just wash. They give the impression like there was moss growing on the surface, and it's very old and distressed, and it's only a few colors of paint, and done quickly and easily. And if the wall is exposed to direct sunlight and a lot of water, you can follow the exact same steps and just wipe your clear glaze on 4 hours after you've done the washing effect. I have come to the end of everything that I wanted to share with you today. Please let me know if anything was unclear. We will gladly assist. I can't wait to see and read your COVID-19 stories. Please stay inspired. I know a lot of you don't have any paint left. I wish there was something I could do, but don't lose the inspiration. And thank you for the support. Have an amazing weekend. Bye.